Is the screen visible to everyone? Great. So there's this story of a dying king. There were multiple doctors that were called to save the king, but none of them could save him. All of them realized that he was going to die soon. The king called the first doctor and asked him, "So, how long do you think I will live?" The first doctor answered, "I am afraid to say you are going to die in 10 days." The king ordered the doctor to be killed just because he didn't want to face his own death. Three, four further doctors came. All of them told the same thing. "I'm sorry, my king, we cannot do anything, but you will die in 10 days. After that, there was an intelligent gentleman. He also knew that this was true. But when the king asked him, the gentleman said, "My king, in 10 days, the prince, your son, is going to be the king." The king had by this time accepted that he was going to die, but getting to know, or rather realizing that his son would be the next king, the king at least took that feedback in a decent manner. So it's not just what you tell the other person, but also how you tell it, which makes an impact on how the person receives it. So whenever it comes to evaluation, it is very important to keep track and keep understanding of a few times, of a few things, right? So this is a simple quote that I found, and I won't just read it out. I'll give 10 seconds for all of you to read it, because while listening, you might skip out, but once you read it for yourself, you will remember it better. So this quote basically says that as a leader, it becomes one of your responsibilities to create people and build their confidence, right? So this is also what we are going to do through an evaluation. So when you evaluate someone, what is in it for the speaker? Can anyone tell me? Like, what does the speaker get from the evaluation? Anyone? You can unmute and answer.
Yes, may I?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah, we get a complete picture of where we are. Like in the sense, number one, what's the speech, whether the content of my speech has been good. One.
Yeah,
More than that, when you give the feedback, it means you're giving the information back to the person to say that these are the areas where your strength, weakness, and the opportunities you're giving it to them to grow. So I feel
right,
that.
right. Anyone else?
Yes. By giving feedback, we get to learn how to keep our opinion or views in a constructive manner.
Right. So that will be from the evaluator's perspective. So coincidentally, that was the next question, that what do we get by evaluating someone? So yes, both the questions are answered. The speaker himself gets feedback, and the evaluator understands how to give feedback, and what the speaker or what the evaluator will keep in his mind the next time he himself gives a speech. That, oh, okay, I had spoken about structure of the speech. So the next time I write a speech for myself, I will keep that thought in mind while writing that speech. So an evaluation is not just for the speaker, but for everyone in the room. Now let's move to arts. What is arts? So arts is basically analysis, recommendation, techniques, and summation. So let's begin with analysis. So whenever you listen to a speech, you should check a few things. What are you seeing? Is the speaker well dressed? Is the speaker dressed for the occasion? If he is giving a humorous speech, is he being very formal? Or if he is giving a very formal speech, is he casually dressed? So what do you see? Along with that comes the expression part. whether the speaker is giving a sad speech, but somehow just has a smile on his face, or whether the speaker is giving a funny speech, but just with zero expressions. So that's the first thing which will help you get some good points and some recommendations as well. Secondly, what you hear. So hearing can be divided into two parts, the vocal variety and the content. So the content should be suitable to the message of the speech. Many times the speaker might include some additional content just because it sounds good or just because it gives them a chance for vocal variety, but it might not be related to what they want to pass on. So sometimes extra stories or some extra fluff gets included in a speech, which can be avoided. So having a crisp content is very important. So that is one part of what we hear. And secondly, vocal variety. Now this, I personally find this as one of the toughest parts to improve upon. I have a certain style of speaking, and raising or lowering the voice or changing the rate of speech or taking pauses or changing the tone, I personally find that very hard to do. So whenever a evaluator is evaluating me, I tell them to specifically listen to what they are hearing. If they have evaluated me before, I ask them to compare it with that time, because I am trying it step by step. But is the audience feeling that I have improved? So what you hear can be divided into vocal variety and content. And last but not the least, have you heard this quote that people might not remember what you said or what you did, but they will definitely remember how you made them feel. So if the message of the speech was to inspire you, then do you feel inspired? For example, if the message is about cleanliness of roads, then does it inspire you to keep your surroundings clean? Does it inspire you to just point it out to someone if they are about to throw a piece of trash on the road? Is the objective of the message being communicated properly? So how does that speaker make you feel? So that, I feel, is the third part in analysis. So what you see, what you hear, and how you feel. Next, recommendations. So here I feel many evaluators end up saying the audience did not connect with the speech that well. But that is just the speaker's opinion or the evaluator's opinion. The person sitting right beside the evaluator might have connected. So whatever evaluation you are giving should always be from your perspective. So you can say, I did not feel the connection which the speaker might have intended to achieve. Or I specifically loved that joke in your humor speech. Right? So it's about your own opinion. Unless it's a fact, you can mention we or the audience or us. But if it's an opinion, always start with I. Secondly, avoid but and should. If I tell you, oh, Toastmaster Nidhi, you look so pretty today, but that immediately makes you feel, right, that, okay, there's something wrong. Is there something on my hair? Is there something on my jacket? Or for example, if I say, Toastmaster Chaitanya, you had an excellent start to the meeting, but, and you immediately start thinking, oh, what's next time? I'm going to get some feedback. So whatever is after the but becomes more important, and whatever comes before the but, it just loses importance. So just put a full stop and then start the next sentence. Because many times you use the but while transitioning to the recommendations. So the speaker might not feel as good about the commendations then. And secondly, an evaluation is your opinion. So an opinion should not be forced on someone, or an opinion is not a right thing that the speaker should have done this. You can instead say, I would have loved it if the speaker had done something. So for example, I really get attracted to humorous speeches. So I might say, I would have loved it if the speaker included more humor in their speech. Whereas some other person might like a different style of speech. So for them, I cannot say, I think the speaker should include humor, because that's just my perspective. After that, be honest. The end goal of the evaluation is to add value to the speaker. So don't sugarcoat it too much. There are always good days and bad days. Sometimes the speaker might not have achieved what they wanted to. Sometimes the speaker might have fumbled too much. So be encouraging, but don't just sugarcoat things and say, oh, it was a lovely speech. You should definitely give more speeches and so on. If the speaker forgot or if the speaker made some errors, you can point it out. Just be careful about how you point it out. So be honest in your recommendations. And lastly, be specific. So if I say the speaker could have improved on their gestures, so there are so many aspects to gestures. What exactly should the speaker improve upon? So unless you tell the speaker specific recommendations, it is of no value to the speaker, right? So for example, it is something related to grammar. So if you just say, I felt the speaker could have improved on his English grammar, the speaker doesn't know what to do. But if you say, I felt the speaker could have improved a bit in tenses, and the speaker knows what exactly do they need to focus upon, right? So start with I, avoid but and should, be honest, and be specific. And a simple way to do this is to follow this approach. Mention what the speaker did and what its impact was, and then mention what the speaker could have done and what the impact would have been. So one feedback that I get, the speaker had a monotonous voice, so I did not connect with the speaker. If the speaker could have added some fluctuations to his voice based upon the emotion, then the speaker would have connected better with me. See, monotone, not getting connected, better fluctuations, getting connected. So it's a simple format that you can follow. After that, a Subway sandwich. Everybody loves it, right? Or rather, most of us do. And pretty much all of the Toastmasters do. The sandwich approach, which is the CRC. So the bread is of course tasty, but what is most important is the filling. So now we will come to the technique, the opening, commendations, recommendations, how to transition and close. So while you are noting down an evaluation, get a sheet of paper, just divide it into two, write C, write R. Just note down the commendations and recommendations in short, because if you keep on writing the whole sentence, you will not listen to the speaker. So if you think vocal variety is a recommendation, just write vocal variety and move on. Don't write the whole sentence that this could have been improved. It just wastes your time and distracts you from the speaker. So note down your commendations, note down your recommendations. Sometimes there will be a common theme that the speaker's vocal variety, or for example, the speaker's energy was very low at the start, but eventually as the speech improved, the speaker got into the zone. So getting into the zone can be a last compliment. And after that, you can say, although at the start, the energy, if it could have been as high as later, then I would have loved it even more. So you naturally transition to the recommendations. Instead of saying, these are my 2 recommendations, these are my 3 commendations, and that's it, it becomes a fluent transition, right? So if you find a common point, try to link it in that way. Now in opening and closing. For the opening, if you can just pick out one point from the speaker's speech and react to it, then that can be a great way. If you can have a different theme to your evaluation, that can be a great way. So there is no specific technique as such to opening. You have to find your own style, right? And after that, the closing, I'll come to that during the summation. Now, many speakers or evaluators ask me, how many observations should we have? Now remember, an evaluation is for 2 to 3 minutes. So if we divide it into 30-second sections, we have around 5 to 6 of them. So accordingly, I have just numbered them. You might include a few more where you want. So if you are giving this evaluation to a beginner speaker, be mindful to include more commendations rather than higher amount of recommendations. Because for the initial speeches, it is important to encourage the speaker, right? You just don't want to say that, okay, the speaker could have improved on his vocal variety, on his gestures. I also felt that the structure was a bit of a mess and the speaker forgot in between. That becomes very demotivating, right? So instead, just give the speaker 1 or 2 recommendations which are immediate, which need to be worked upon immediately. So in this example, the structure, if that improves, then the rest of the things will slowly fall into place. So prioritize your recommendations and then accordingly select just 1 or 2. As you move to the intermediate level, increase the recommendations, decrease the commendations. As you move to a more experienced speaker, just add the recommendations, reduce the commendations. So I'll just share this PPT with you towards the end. I won't take more time. Just that at the end, keep 1 commendation, because at the end of dinner as well, you like a dessert, right? So after all the feedback, if the speaker gets 1 more commendation, they will absorb the feedback in a better manner. And lastly, summation. So your feedback should not demotivate the speaker. It should always make them feel that, oh, these are the things which I adjust, the speech can actually be better. Let me start working on it and I'll give the speech again, right? So even as speakers, when you get some feedback, think about where you can use them and try attempting the same speech again. If it is your level 1 project 2, anyways, you have to give it twice. But what about other projects? You can always attempt them again. There is no rule in TI that says that, okay, once you give a project, that is done and you have to move on. So whatever feedback you get, apply it and give the speech again. You yourself will realize how much of a difference it makes, right? So for summation, see how the speaker has given a speech. For example, if the speech wasn't as good, don't towards the end say, I would love to hear more such speeches from you. The speech itself wasn't as good, right? So just encourage the speaker by probably saying something like, I know you have the capability of giving a better speech, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing that, right? That just motivates the speaker. So be honest. Like, there is no, like, the audience also understands that if something has gone wrong during the speech. So saying that, wow, it was an excellent speech, it's not going to actually make a difference. It's not going to help the speaker improve, right? So with your summation, add some value to it and encourage the speaker to get up on that stage as soon as possible the next time. The vice president of education of your club, he or she must get irritated with the number of speech requests that they get, right? Now, I know Nidhi might say, Toastmaster Vivaswan, I know that Diamond Club Award and other criterias are there and we need other role players as well. But definitely speeches can never be neglected, nor can be evaluations. So you can focus on both of those. And that was my session. I tried to keep it brief. I'm not sure how much time I took. Okay, I guess I'm on time. Toastmaster Nidhi, do we have time for a few questions?
We have the Q&A session at the end. We can have it now as well.
Yeah, since the test speaker will be speaking and people will be evaluating, we can have it right now and then we can move to the speeches. I will stop sharing this for now. If anyone has any questions, you can ask them to me. In the meanwhile, I'll just share this PDF.
In case anyone has any questions, they can share their questions to Toastmaster Shruti and she'll be asking the questions to Toastmaster Vivaswan.
Okay, I would request all the audience members, if there are any questions, kindly share me on chat.
So the reason for there not being any questions is that you guys either did not love the session or everything that I explained was very clear.
Toastmaster Shruti, are you getting any questions in the chat box?
Yeah, just a second. I will read out first one. So I
Yeah.
have got a question, Toastmaster Vivis one. It's like how to give a feedback in a manner that the person do not feel demotivated or bad.
Yeah. So for this, you need to keep in mind the experience of the speaker. So in this Zoom format, we have ended up in such a way that the evaluator arrives to the meeting at say 7 p.m. if your meeting is at 7, and then they just see, okay, this is my speaker, I have to evaluate them. So a good way is to build the connection before the meeting. Just drop a message to that person that, hey, I'll be evaluating your speech. Is there anything specific that you want me to look at? Are you comfortable with being a bit critical about the speech, or do you want me to go a bit easy? So just how long have you been in Toastmasters? So just get to know the speaker a bit so that you can easily understand what stage they are at. So for now, I am a member of an advanced club and I'm done with 2 parts. So whenever I get a feedback at the club, there is no CRC format. The format is RRR. And by chance, I might get one commendation. So we are at that stage where I don't feel offended or I don't feel bad when someone gives me just recommendations. But if the speaker is giving, say, icebreaker or researching on presenting speech, there the speaker might want more commendations. And if you have 3, 4 recommendations, maybe give 1 or 2 during the meeting. And after the meeting, you can just drop them a text or give them a call just to say that I felt these things also could have been improved. But for right now, just focus on the top 2. Later on, you can focus on the others. So that way, just connect with the speaker before the meeting, not during the meeting, or not like just give your evaluation like that. So connecting beforehand is a good way to do that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I hope it answers the question. Also, we have got this question that how do the evaluation should be done? Should it be done in a sitting position or a standing one?
Okay. So honestly, it does not matter how you do the evaluation. As long as you are adding value to the speaker, it doesn't matter. And like during a physical meeting, it is better to not have, say, a notebook in your hands where you have where you have written all the commendations and recommendations. That's why I suggested a single piece of paper. Because if you have a notebook, then in one hand you are balancing the notebook, in other hand you are focusing to the audience, then it becomes distracting. If you have a single piece of paper, just look at what the point is and tell it to the audience. When you're using Zoom, just have Zoom open on one side. On other side, you can have a Word or PowerPoint, whatever you feel comfortable open. Just look at the point and then present it. So standing or sitting does not matter as long as you are giving a fluent evaluation and it is adding value to the speaker, right? If
Yeah.
this is specific for the contest, then whatever you are comfortable with, do that. Because if you are standing far away just so that you get more into the frame and you are not able to read what's there on the screen, so you will miss out on your points. So then rather just move a bit ahead and focus on this evaluation rather than the position.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And last but not the least, we have another question, and that is what should be the ratio of commendations and recommendation in the evaluation?
Yeah. So this part I have included in the slide as well, that it depends on the speaker. So if the speaker wants more recommendations, then you can include more recommendations. Also, if the speaker is more experienced, you can include more recommendations. But coincidentally, it becomes the opposite, that the more experienced the speaker, the harder it is to find the recommendations. So it is better to connect with the speaker in person or on chat or call, whatever, so that they will only tell you that, okay, I'm comfortable with getting a higher amount of recommendations. Because eventually, if I give you 1000 commendations and 2 recommendations, it is the 2 recommendations that will help you improve your speech, right? Commendations are just for the feel good moment, and okay, you know that you are good at it. What do you need to improve? That is more important during an evaluation. That is just my perspective.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for sharing with us those insights. And yeah, we have already noted all the points, and I have make note of, and I'm going to use it for the contest.
I've also shared the PPT in the chat box. And one question that I realized nobody asked, surprisingly, is that I am someone who joined Toastmasters 3 to 4 months back or 6 months back, and I've just completed level 2. How do I evaluate someone who is already 8 years in Toastmasters? Do any of you have that question? Yes, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, the people who are more experienced, they have been through the grind at, like, as they say, kyunki saas bhi kabhi bahu thi. So they have also been that 6-month-old Toastmaster at some point of time. So they won't necessarily take it in a bad way if you give them recommendations. And again, I come back to the same point. Just talk to the speaker beforehand, because many a times it might happen. You are very excited to improve your public speaking and you joined the moment you turned 18, and the speaker might be 50, 60. So then it might become a bit tougher that, okay, how do I give feedback to that person? So if you just connect with them and talk to them a bit, it will help you, because Toastmasters is also a platform for networking. Maybe the next time you are evaluating someone else, this feedback will help you give a better evaluation, right? So just don't worry about, oh, this person is so senior. Oh, he is a DTM, I am level 2. How do I evaluate? So don't worry about those things. But it is one important doubt that pretty much everyone has at some point of time.
True. Definitely, we are confused with this, that are we even eligible to do that or not? And yes, you answered it very well. And now I would like to move ahead with the mock evaluation contest.